In order to be fully confident of your Firestore rules implementation, I highly recommend investing the time and effort into unit testing. It's easier than you might think and much more efficient than trying to test various scenarios in the Firestore console in the playground. Not only that, but it makes it much safer to modify your code in the future because you might change something and break something without realizing it until it's too late. The next few videos will help if you have some JavaScript or unit testing experience, however, that's not explicitly required. Now, in the setup video earlier in the course, we set up a JavaScript project with our Firebase rules, and if you haven't done that already, make sure to go back to that video to follow the setup instructions. In my case, I'm working with a React app, but you can use any front-end framework you want because we're not going to actually touch any of the front-end code. If we take a look at the file structure here, we'll first want to create a directory called tests. Then inside that directory, we'll go ahead and add a helpers.js file and a rules.test.js file. Using test.js as the file extension will tell the test runner to evaluate this file. So it's important to follow that naming convention. But the first part of the name can be whatever you want. From there, we're going to install two dependencies into our project. The first one is Jest, which is the test runner that we'll use in this course. There are other test runners out there that you might want to use instead of Jest, like Mocha, for example, and you're more than welcome to do that. They're very similar, it's just my personal preference to use Jest. The next library we'll use is the Firebase Rules Unit Testing package. It's an officially maintained package that provides a bunch of utilities for testing your rules locally. We can install both packages with a single line of code. Now that we have everything installed, let's jump into our rules.test file and write a simple test just to make sure that everything is working. In Jest, we'll use the test function, which takes two arguments. The first argument is a string that defines the test that you're creating. In this test, we just want to make sure that Jest works. The second argument is a function that runs an assertion. We might expect 2 to be 3, and that should produce a failing test, because even though I'm not great at math, I know that 2 does not equal 3. Now the question becomes, how do we run this test? The most efficient way is to create a script in your package.json file. If we go in there, we can find the scripts object, then we'll add a field for test, and that will define a command that we want to run from the command line, which in this case is Jest, and then we'll also flag the environment to be node instead of the browser. From there, we can open up the command line and run npm test, and then a couple of seconds later, we should get that failing test back. The test tells us that it expected 3 but received 2. If we go and modify our test to provide the correct answer and run the test again, you'll see this time we get a passing test.